Elon Musk's SpaceX is building a giant rocket factory on the coast of Texas. This marks the first time in history that orbital rockets have ever been mass manufactured on a production line. SpaceX is essentially following the revolutionary blueprint laid out by Tesla with their electric vehicle gigafactories. The result? A massive fleet of Starship vehicles that will carry humanity to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. This is the Starfactory. We are witnessing the end of an era for SpaceX. After 4 intense years of development, testing, and yes, exploding, the Starship rocket is finally on its way to becoming a fully operational Super Heavy launch vehicle. Along with that hard-won maturity comes a critical need: evolving the processes and infrastructure built around manufacturing and deploying these massive rockets. When SpaceX first arrived in Boca Chica village a decade ago, there was nothing there. Just endless sand and water, some scrub grass, and a quarter-mile strip of mid-century bungalow houses, seemingly forgotten by the world, leftovers from a failed 1960s attempt to build a town that never materialized. Nobody thought about this place again until Elon Musk arrived. If you go on Google Street View and turn the date back to 2011, you can literally watch the world's largest rocket launch tower vanish into flat scrubland. The point is, SpaceX had almost nothing to work with when they arrived at what would become Starbase. That reality showed in their early production methods. The initial Starship prototypes were essentially hacked together in the middle of the desert, and it showed. They looked rough. But that's how SpaceX has always operated: try, fail, learn, do it better next time. Progress meant putting up tents, sprung structures as engineers call them, which grew bigger over time. They built vertical shelters so wind wouldn't knock over their rockets, the low bay, the mid bay, eventually the high bay. As the production site improved, so did the rockets. They evolved from something resembling a flying water tank to a flying grain silo to something that actually looked like a real rocket. Early prototypes flew up into the clouds before plummeting back to Earth and exploding in giant fireballs. The first of many explosions that defined Starbase's middle era from 2020 to 2021. But everything has changed. Now the Starships explode mid-air instead of on the ground. That's progress. Seriously though, for all the evolution in rocket design, there's been just as much, if not more, transformation to the production site where the real magic happens. In late January 2024, we watched the last of 3 main production tents at Starbase come down. This marked the true ending of that scrappy era. Just as quickly as the tents disappeared, the Starfactory arrived. SpaceX is moving at incredible speed to build a permanent structure that will become a mass manufacturing hub for Starship. This is absolutely critical to the SpaceX master plan for colonizing Mars. They need Starships, lots of them. In 2022, SpaceX President Gwynne Shotwell revealed she wants to see 1 new Starship upper stage built every single day. By 2023, she envisioned SpaceX launching dozens of Starships daily, maybe even hundreds of launches per day. To meet such unprecedented expectations, the crews at Starbase need to figure out how to mass manufacture orbital rockets, something that has literally never been done before. The closest historical comparison might be the mid-1970s when the Soviet Union built around 60 Soyuz rockets annually. Currently, NASA struggles to build just 1 SLS rocket per year at a staggering cost of around $4 billion each. This is clearly not easy. So how will SpaceX do it from one factory in a remote Texas desert? To understand what happens inside the Starship factory, look at SpaceX's construction process so far. They've built a series of vertical assembly buildings over the years: the low bay, mid bay, high bay, and recently the mega bay. The low bay and mid bay have been demolished to make way for Starfactory construction, while a second mega bay just finished. The Mega Bay represents Starship construction's future. One building is dedicated to orbital ship stages, the second to super heavy boosters. These structures assemble rocket stages by stacking prefabricated ring sections and welding them together. Elon Musk explained that SpaceX kept making these buildings wider to provide more working stations per bay, allowing simultaneous assembly of multiple ships and boosters. Epic wide-angle photos show 3 full-sized boosters on engine installation stands while 2 partially assembled boosters wait on the sides, enough room for 5 rockets total, with 3 being worked on simultaneously. Think of these tall buildings as general assembly areas while more intricate manufacturing happens in lower sections. In Starbase's beginning phase, technicians worked from 3 long tents acting as main production lines. All these tents have been replaced as the permanent factory structure expands. Making rockets in tents may seem questionable, but it's similar to how Tesla learns to build Model 3 and Model Y vehicles. Instead of conforming to existing factory space, Tesla set up giant tents in parking lots and figured it out from scratch. This allowed them to integrate revolutionary techniques like giga-press casting machines, the world's largest die-casting machines, literally house-sized and too gigantic for existing factory floors. Tesla set up their first giga-press under a tent at Fremont, proved it worked, then designed new gigafactories around these machines. The manufacturing process starts when SpaceX receives raw materials, giant rolls of 304 liters stainless steel cut to length, formed into rings, and welded. These become the straight sides of ships and boosters. For curved sections like nose cones and interior domes forming fuel tank tops and bottoms, SpaceX receives stamped and stretch-formed stainless steel panels they weld together. The 3 original tents represented 3 parallel Starship component manufacturing strings, divided between producing top, middle, and bottom sections simultaneously. One tent, filled with Raptor engines, was dedicated to the lower thrust section of ships and boosters. The middle tent housed ring sections and domes making up Starship bodies and fuel tanks. Each section contains 3 to 5 welded steel rings, then prepared for specific roles with various cutouts, plumbing, and reinforcements. Upper stage ship sections also receive thermal insulation and heat shield tiles here. The third tent produced nose cones from long stretch-formed stainless steel pieces welded along vertical lines. Nose sections also receive heat shields before rolling out. This process allowed SpaceX to manufacture key ship and booster segments simultaneously on the ground, then bring everything together at the Mega Bay for final assembly. Segments are stacked, welded, and given finishing touches like engines, wings, grid fins, and actuators. SpaceX appears to be continuing this general manufacturing process inside the new Starfactory, but solid walls bring unprecedented security to Starbase. It was always easy for photographers to peek inside tents and watch rings stacking, but that era has ended. The completed Starfactory sections form an L shape, quickly becoming a U shape as new segments rise along the highway. The footprint measures approximately 800 feet in length and width with a 60-foot roofline. This makes manufacturing much easier, one continuous production floor instead of 3 separate tents, providing 2 to 3 times more covered floor space. Significantly more vertical space exists because pyramid-shaped tents only reached full height down the middle and stayed low toward edges. Theoretically, SpaceX could make each segment taller, requiring fewer sections packed in assembly bays. The final Starfactory layout will be roughly square, working out to probably 5 times more total production space than available when they started building Starships with 3 primary tents. With tents cleared, final foundations are going in rapidly. This is how SpaceX eventually produces 1 Starship daily. Massive production space allows working on several new rockets simultaneously, building prefabricated segments, then final assembly becomes simply stacking them, and installing finishing touches before shipping down the road to the launch site. This massive production volume is what SpaceX needs for Starship to fulfill Elon's grand vision. Starship will replace the entire existing SpaceX fleet, Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy, and Dragon capsule, while becoming the primary muscle of NASA's Artemis moon landing program. But Starship is also the backbone of Elon's mission to establish a self-sustaining city on Mars. The Starfactory is absolutely critical to making that reality happen. From humble tents in the Texas desert to a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility, SpaceX has proven once again that the impossible just takes a little longer. The era of mass-produced orbital rockets is here. The question is no longer if we can build enough Starships to reach Mars, it's how soon we'll get there.